Okay, today we're going to talk about graphing hyperbolas. So hyperbolas will... All right, we're going to be studying rational functions. This lesson focuses on hyperbolas, so that's what we will be spending time on. There are two forms of equations that will give you a hyperbola. So this is the first one. It's a over x minus h plus k. Now the a is just a number. It could be a 3, it could be a -4. Okay, so in this form of the hyperbola, the only portion of the equation that has a variable, your x, is the denominator. Okay, now this form also tells you where your asymptotes are. So this equation, this hyperbola, there are two asymptotes. So your h is your vertical asymptote, and the k is your horizontal asymptote. So you've got two asymptotes, x equals h and y equals k. All right, now you'll notice in the next form of a hyperbola that we talk about is that it's not going to be h and k, so you're going to have to learn another way to find those asymptotes. Okay, so that gets a little confusing. So besides x equals h for your vertical asymptote, we're going to think about this as putting your denominator equal to 0 and you solve, and that will give you your vertical asymptote, and that works on any rational function, so not just this form of the equation but all forms of rational functions. Okay, now the horizontal asymptote, you're going to have to remember y equals k. All right, so number one, we're going to graph this, and you can do these graphs on. Okay, so we're going to go with, let's go -4, 1, -2, 2, and -1, 4. Okay, now notice that at 0 it says error. Okay, well where that 0 says error, that's that vertical asymptote. Okay, so these points are going to be to the left section of the asymptote, and then when we go past that and go down here, now these points are going to be to the right. So 1, -4, 2, -2, and let's go 4, -1. Okay, so -4, 1, 1, 2, 3. Please label your graphs also. It's going to help you out and it's going to help me out. So -4, -4, 1 goes there. Okay, and then we have -2, 2, -1, 4. Again, you've got your asymptotes to guide you. You already know what that's going to look like. So 1, -4 for points on this side, 2, -2, and 4, -1. Okay, so now domain and range. Well, your domain and range, you can just piggyback off of your asymptotes. So vertical asymptote is x equals 0. Domain is going to be all real numbers not equal to 0. Similarly with the range, all real numbers not equal to 0, since your horizontal asymptote is 0. Okay, now let's look at this next one. So notice on this one, you do have a k. So right here is your k, -5. So since k is -5, that is your horizontal asymptote. So y equals -5. In the denominator, there is not an h, so that's going to be 0. H is 0. So x equals 0 for your vertical asymptote. Okay, so I'm going to sketch in my asymptotes. So that's at 0, 1, 2, 3, -3, 4, 5. and then -5. Okay, again, label for me, please. Just a couple of things will be helpful. And we can sketch this. So I'm going to go back to y equals. I'll just do 8 over x. Okay, I'm going to arrow to the right, and that will take you out of the fraction, and then I can say -5, and we graph. Okay, so since my vertical asymptote's at 0, my left side of my graph is going to be using any x values that are less than 0, so anything that's negative. Again, let's go to your table, and you can see there's 0 is error, there's that vertical asymptote. So I'm going to arrow up just a couple. Let's see what we can find. Well, -1 is -13. That's kind of a ways off my graph. How about we'll do 2. -2 is -9. -4 is -7. And let's see, what else did we find? -8 is -6. Let's try those, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. So -2 is -9. Well, this is -6, so we're just going to have to kind of estimate. I think -9 is going to be about right here. 4 is -7, so here's -6, so there's -7, and 8 is -6, so maybe about right there. Okay, I'm going to extend this asymptote just a little bit, and there. Now we kind of get that one. All right, so that was on the left side. So on the right side, let's look for some positive values. Okay, 1 is 3, that's going to be easy enough. 2 is -1. Okay, let's go. 5 is -17/5. That's going to be -3 and 2/5. All right, so 1 is 3. 2 is -1. 5 is -3. So -3 and 2/5 go a little bit past -3. And there's your graph. Okay, your domain and range, again, piggybacks off of your vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So domain is going to be real numbers not equal to 0. Range, real numbers not equal to -5. Okay, here is our next one. So you can see where your K is. So here's your K is 2, so that means your horizontal asymptote is going to be 2. Here, my H, remember, change the sign, is 3, so x equals 3. Okay, let's talk about this vertical asymptote in a little bit different manner. Okay, because I mentioned that this one, you find your H and K, that gives you your asymptotes, and then on the next form we're going to look at, it's not the same, the rules change. Okay, so instead of having to memorize so many rules, we can kind of group these vertical asymptotes together. So no matter what kind of rational function you have, if you set your denominator equal to 0 and you solve, that will tell you where your vertical asymptote is. Again, it works for any rational function. So we're going to be spending the next week or two on rational functions, so this is really going to be something you want to understand. So if we look at this fraction, look at the denominator, x minus 3. Well, if I put x minus 3 equal to 0 and solve, add 3 to both sides, then you have x equals 3. So there's that vertical asymptote, x equals 3, just like when we found the h. Okay, you might say, well, that's more work. I can just look at that and tell you what my h is. That's fine. But again, keep this in mind that this method will work for all rational functions. Not all rational functions are set up where you see your h. Okay? All right, so horizontal asymptote, sketch that in. Vertical asymptote, sketch that in. Okay, again, label for me, please. Okay, let's go to, oh, I guess we haven't put this equation in yet, so go back to your y equals. I'm just going to go to my numerator, change that to 1, denominator. We want, we want x minus 3, and then plus 2. Okay, graph that. There it is. You can see it's going to, how that's set up, that we have our asymptotes in the correct place. I'm going to go to table. Okay, so here's our table. Again, at 3, there's that error message, so that's where that vertical asymptote is. Okay, let's go a little bit before. We got lots of fractions in this one. Okay, how about -5 is 15/8. Okay, so 15/8, that is 1 7/8, so it's just a little bit before 2. Let's see, how about -3 is 11/6, so that is 1 5/6. Well, that's not much of a difference. Let's go down here a little bit. 0, well, 0 is 5/3, so that's 1 2/3. 2 is 1. Okay, so 2 is 1, 0's 1 2/3, -3, 1 5/6. It's just really hugging that horizontal asymptote, and then it's going to come down. Okay, so then on the other side of your asymptote, we have 4 3, 6 7/3, which would be 2 1/3. So let's plot those. 4 3, 6 is 2 1/3, so you know it's coming down. So kind of same thing. There you go. Domain, real numbers not equal to 3. Range, real numbers not equal to 2. Okay, we're going to stop here today. That covers your first style of a hyperbola, and then you can see here this is your second one. So I'll be posting another video going over this second version if that is helpful for you.